going on, bro? Can you hear me?
1 second, I can't hear you. Let me turn this up. Say something again.
Well, let me get my headphones anyway.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Hold on, it'll be better with my headphones.
All right.
What's going on, bro? Can you hear me?
1 second, I can't hear you. Let me turn this up.
Well, let me get my headphones.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Hold on, it'll be better with my headphones. All right, can you hear me now? What's going on, bro? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you better now, yes. 1 second, I can't hear you. Let me turn this up. Yeah, so I'm letting the feedback play right now, so I can hear how it sounds on Facebook. I mean YouTube.
What's going on, bro? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you better now, yeah. Okay, it sounds good. Yeah, I hear you better now, yeah. Okay, so you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro.
I can't hear you now. Yeah, I can't hear you at all. Play right now, so I can hear how it sounds on Facebook. I mean YouTube. Okay, it sounds good. So what you gotta do, first you gotta do, so you can hear me, you gotta mute your YouTube. Okay, so you can hear me? So you gotta mute your YouTube screen. I can't hear you now. And you gotta leave the Zoom screen unmuted. All right, yeah, so mute the YouTube, and so your Zoom is not muted, good. But I don't think your microphone is working though, because I'm looking at your microphone level, and it's not moving at all. So your microphone isn't. So you know what you gotta do? What you probably didn't do was select your audio option. So when you log into Zoom, when you come into Zoom, okay, I seen it mute. I seen that you muted and you unmuted. Okay, but like I said, when you come into Zoom, Zoom gives you an option to select your audio choice. So I don't know if you selected the correct one, because most people who come on a Zoom, they don't really have an audio issue. I'm gonna say 95% of people who enter on Zoom don't have an audio issue. There's only two ways you have an audio issue. Either your microphone is a problem with it, or you didn't select the correct option when you logged in. So to eliminate that, so in the meeting and then come back in again, and then be mindful of select the correct audio. I think it's the audio computer thing. Okay, so I see that you're back in. I don't see your audio moving up and down. So you know what you can do too? Like try to turn up your volume.
Got everything turned up. You hear me now?
Okay, I see it moving now. Your audio is moving now. I see it moving, but I don't hear you. So let me make sure that I can hear. Hold on. So don't say anything. Let me make sure that it's not me. Maybe it's not you. So I'm gonna play some audio.
At the channel called Woketown, and their video, which was
okay, so I can clearly hear something. So that means it's back on you.
Can you hear me now? You hear me? Can you hear me? Hear me now? Microphone. Can you hear me?
Wait 1 second. Let me make sure. Wait 1 second. Let me see something.
It might be my headphones.
Yeah, hold on. Give me 1 second. Okay, say something now.
You hear me?
All right. Yeah, but I can hear you, but it doesn't sound
Clear.
like it's. Wait, don't say anything. Don't say anything. Hold on a second. All right, so give me one second. Hey, Rashu, I need a big favor, Rashu. I need you to come on Zoom so I can make sure. I need to know if it's me or if it's Truth Ministries. So, hey Zen, I'm gonna send a link. I need you to come on just so I can hear you talk. I want to make sure that it's not. I need you to talk. So if you talk, if we hear you clearly, then it's Truth Ministry. If we can't hear you, then it's me. So I need you to come on so we can solve that right now. Because it sounds like it might be me, this damn microphone, man. I'm gonna try something. Let me. Okay, Truth.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now. So, yes, okay, I can definitely hear you now.
Cool. I'm clear because I don't want nobody
Yeah,
listening to this.
Now I had to, for some reason, I don't know why my.
All right, let me try with my headphones in because I think it
No,
might.
I can hear you. I can hear you. The technical difficulty was on my part, and I'm trying to figure out why I could not hear you on my system. That happens sometimes where I can't hear anybody. I don't know why it does that, but I can definitely hear you right now. So that means it's working. So let me just hear the feedback now so now I'm just gonna wait for the feedback from YouTube. Yeah. Okay, now say something right now. I'm listening to the feedback.
Yo.
My system, that happens sometimes where I can't hear anybody. I don't know why it does that, but I can definitely hear you right now. So that means it's working. So let me just hear the feedback now. So now I'm just gonna wait for the feedback from YouTube. Yeah. Okay, now say something right now. Listen to the feedback. All right, good. Okay, it's good. You are good. You are very clear on YouTube.
Cool. So how you want to start this?
So do you need to share your screen at all? Like any?
Yeah, I need to share my screen. I got slides.
Okay. So are you playing anything from the internet?
No, I'm not playing nothing from the internet.
All right, good.
Most I might show a scientific journal article.
You can do that. I'm talking about any video.
No. Nothing's gonna be me. This all actual.
Yeah, because I try to share some stuff myself. I thought I was going by the rules, but I got flagged twice.
Yeah, y'all don't want to get you flagged anyway. But nah, y'all gonna like this one because it's about pretty much what y'all was talking about last night. About how was archaic humans religious and stuff like that. We're gonna get into a little bit of all that today.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna break a lot of that down. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen.
And the presentation, how long is it? 3 hours, 2 hours?
Nah, I'm trying to make it as quick as possible. I'm just move through it, yo. I got 40 slides though.
But don't talk too fast.
Nah, a lot of them I can move through.
Yeah, but don't talk too fast because then we're gonna miss.
Oh yeah, I ain't gonna rush through it. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it out today.
All right.
All right, so let me share my screen.
I'm gonna go on mute.
Let me know when you see my screen though. It should be sharing now.
Yeah, I see it.
All right. So let's get in it.
And look, let me say this.
Yeah.
So you can have the YouTube in the background, but have it on mute. And if you're in any doubt, you can always check the YouTube, and the YouTube will show you how your looks. But it's like a 10-second delay, but it'll show you exactly how, what you're showing.
All right, I got you. All right, so let's get into it, right? So basically what I'm gonna do today is we're gonna talk about human migrations, evolution, and the importance of climate change. This is a very important topic because of the reason a lot of people in this world right now think the world was literally created in 7 days and that man was created in a day. And as long as we continue with that train of thought, we are never going to be able to advance as a people, because there's a lot of things that actually happen on this planet that force evolution. And if we sleep on it, we might become extinct like the Neanderthals. All right. So let's get into it. First, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna present my sources. All right. So for anybody that wants to check my sources, here they are right now. All right. I'm gonna give you a couple seconds. Maybe you want to write it down real quick, but you can always pause and go back and, check the sources there. All right. So we're gonna go on to the next slide. Basically, life began with a cell. All right. A cell is a basic membrane-bound unit that contains the fundamental molecules of life, and of which all living things are composed. A single cell is often complete. I'm sorry, let me drink something. My mouth got dry. A single cell is often a complete organism in itself, such as bacteria or yeast. Other cells acquire specialized functions as they mature. These cells cooperate with each other, with other specialized cells, and become the building blocks of large molecular organisms such as humans and other animals. So basically, all life begins with a cell. All right. Let's get into it. What type of cells are we talking about? Cells are largely composed of compounds that contain carbon. The study of how carbon atoms interact with other atoms and molecule compounds form the basis of the field of organic chemistry and play a large role in understanding the basic function of cells. Because carbon atoms can form stable bonds with 4 other atoms, they are uniquely suited for the construction of complex molecules. Okay, let's understand that. The carbon atom is like the glue that holds all the other atoms together. All right. The carbon atom is 6 protons, 6 electrons, and 6 neutrons. This is the makeup of a carbon atom. This is not the makeup of a black man. This is the beginning basis of all life on this earth, not just the African. Okay. And I think that is very important to be understood, because you got a lot of people out here teaching a lot of information about this that's not actually correct. All right. So, let's continue reading. These complex molecules are typically made up of chains and rings that contain hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen atoms, as well as carbon atoms. These molecules may consist of anything from 10 to millions of atoms linked together in specific arrays. Most, but not all, of the carbon-containing molecules in cells are built up from members of 1 of 4 different families of small organic molecules: sugars, amino acids, nucleotides, and fatty acids. All right. So this is what is known as the last universal common ancestor. Based on science, this is where everything comes from. Every living being on this planet comes from this single-celled organism. All right. This single-celled organism was not male, nor was it female. It was asexual, which means it reproduced itself. All right. So let's go into it. It was Darwin who originally postulated the idea of a single common ancestor, one primordial form from which all modern beings must have descended. In the fullness of time, Darwin's notion of universal common ancestry came to be supported by the fact that every organism, from microbes to human beings, uses almost exactly the same genetic code. And biologists now report to have found the last universal common ancestor, LCA for short. A tiny single-cell organism, no more than a lipid membrane that encased an early but functioning genome composed of DNA, as well as protein and the RNA which these parts communicated, which came into being more than 3.5 billion years ago. All right, so 3.5 billion years ago, this was the form of every human. I mean, it wasn't even a human. It wasn't no humans 3.5 billion years ago. This was the form we were in. And as you will see throughout, as I go through this presentation, humans have took many different forms, not just this one. This is the beginning. This is what we can link all organisms on Earth to, all right? Such as bacteria, archaea, pretty much every living organism on this Earth comes from the last universal common ancestor, all right? Including viruses. Viruses was around before, viruses was around before humans, if you want to be real about it. But let's not go there right now. We're going to continue going with this. All living things originated from the last universal common ancestor. Now let's put that into perspective. Suppose you took the DNA and compared it to a Neanderthal. You find that both your DNAs are 99.7% identical, meaning that it's only a 0.3% difference in your DNA and a Neanderthal's DNA, all right? Next, if you compared your DNA to a chimpanzee, you'll see some more differences. In fact, there's about 98.5% overlap, meaning it's about 1.5% difference between you and a chimpanzee, all right? For a chicken, it's 60% overlap with your DNA. As you keep comparing it, it never reaches a point where you don't share any DNA with other organisms on Earth. Simply, we share commonalities for our genetic composition and DNA with all organisms on Earth, meaning we are literally connected in one way or another to everything on this planet, all right? So let's keep it moving. So let's talk about some of the things that causes these changes. We know that natural selection, genetic drift, but one of the main causes for these genetic changes is climate change, all right? Sometimes on this Earth, we could be sitting right here in the United States, and 30,000 years ago from now, it could be totally covered in ice. You see what I'm saying? The climate on this Earth changes, all right? And we're gonna get into it right now. What causes evolution? What evolutionary pressures were most influencing and causing species diversity to come about? The current evidence is that climate changes may have played a large role in shaping human evolution and also competition between hominoids. For the most part, over the period we are considering, there is a trend towards cooler and drier conditions. But within that trend, the climate oscillates at predictable intervals, okay? Meaning we can actually predict when the dry seasons are coming and the wet seasons are coming. Mind you, these seasons last like thousands of years, okay? So we're gonna get into that too in a second. So at times it will be hotter and wetter and at other times cooler and drier. So diet and locomotion that works at one time may not be so successful in another. They say the reason that humans came out the trees was for one reason: the climate had changed, okay? To where as though it was once where they were, it was like a jungle or a forest. And then because the climate changed, it turned into a grassland, forcing them to come out the trees and have to walk upright, okay? So we're gonna get more to that in a second. All right, meanwhile, the climate alternated rapidly between wet and dry periods. So to thrive, our ancestors had to adapt rapidly to rapidly changing landscapes. The disappearance of a favorite food or the replacement of a long wet season with a longer dry one creates pressure that leads eventually to adaptation, extinction, or evolution into different species. According to the Darwinian theory, I'm sorry. Over time, these creatures who emerge with advantage traits, such as large brains and the genes they carry, will come to dominate because more of them will survive. All right. This is the proof of climate change. Peter B. DeMonaco describes the process of drilling cores for ocean sediments, nearly half a mile into the sea bottom and 1.5 miles of water in the Arabian Sea. By drilling into the seafloor off the African coast, geologists have been able to penetrate a million-year time capsule, recovering long cores of sediment that preserve complete records of past African environments. Since the divergence of the great ape and human lineage several million years ago, the ocean bottom and the Arabian Sea had accumulated nearly 1,000 feet of deep sea mud at the rate of about 1.5 inch every 1,000 years. The sediment here consists of mixtures of fine white calcium carbonate fossil shells from ancient ocean plankton and darker salty grains of dirt blown from areas of Africa and Arabia by windy monsoons. When the mix looks darker and gritty, it indicates darker and dry and dustier times. When it looks lighter, that reflects wider, more humid conditions. The research indicates that the alternating light and dark layers repeated every 3 feet, which meant that they changed about every 23,000 to 26,000 years, in tune with the Earth's wobble, which changes the amount of sunlight hitting our planet in a given season, illustrating the fact that African climate change history had been one of continuous swings between wetter and drier times. For North Africa and South Asia, more or less heat during summer increased or decreased monsoon rainfall, making these regions either wetter or drier as our planet wobbled back and forth. Give me a second, let me drink some water. All right, let's go. All right, our branch of the tree is the hominid branch, all right? A hominid is any member of the group consisting of all modern and extinct humans and great apes, including gorillas, chimpanzees, and orangutans, and all their intermediate ancestors, all right? Humans are not descended from monkeys, all right? That is, I don't know why people keep saying that. Monkeys are monkeys, all right? They evolved into monkeys. Just like we evolved into humans, Homo sapiens, monkeys evolved into monkeys. They were not monkeys back then, all right? They evolved into monkeys. People got to stop with that. It's kind of retarded at this point in time, especially if you say you study evolution. So humans are not descended from monkeys, but we share common ancestors with them. If you look at this picture right here that I got posted, 12 to 16 million years ago, we were in the same form as, we was in a certain form, right? And then some of our species went one way and some of our species went another. This species that went to the left, they became orangutans, all right? They evolved into orangutans, all right? We evolved into humans, all right? But at one point in time, we were similar, we were the same, all right? I don't care how many people get upset about it, you are an ape. You are considered a great ape. You are the greatest of the great apes. Matter of fact, you are the greatest creature to walk the face of the earth. I don't know why people are offended to hear that. All right, but let's keep it going. All right. Humans are not descended from monkeys, but we share common ancestors with them. Nor are we descended from chimpanzees, but molecular evidence shows that the common ancestors we share with them lived about 6 million years ago. Neither are humans descended from lungfish, but we share a common ancestors with lungfish, all right? And it is generally accepted that bats and humans also share a common ancestor, all right? Doesn't mean that we're bats, all right? I don't know how clear to say that, but we're gonna keep it moving. During the past million years, several new types of hominids appeared in different parts of Africa and Eurasia, and the brains of these species expanded rapidly, as large as 1,300 cc's, which is cubic centimeters, which puts them within the range of the modern human brain size, which means these archaic humans had the brain sizes of modern humans, which means they were probably just as intelligent. We're gonna get more into that in a second, because the conversation last night was kind of crazy. It was definitely about what I wanted to get into today. So we're gonna keep on going though. Hold up, as large as 1,300 cc's, which puts them in the range of modern human brain size, beginning about 200,000 years ago. They also appeared a new type of stone technology, leading to new and more refined tools. All right. The evolution of the human brain has been said to constitute one of the 4 great turning points in the history of life on Earth. Rapid brain growth is also considered to have something to do with the evolution of more sophisticated forms of language. As with tool use, language skills probably correlated closely with brain power, giving those individuals with slightly bigger brains a significant advantage. And tool making itself may have posed a formidable enough challenge to our ancestors that it spurred the development of human language. In any event, hominoid brains grew quickly from about 500,000 years ago. Changes provided clear evidence in increased intellectual capacity and perhaps of increased linguistic ability. All right. Well before the vegetarian eating I can never pronounce this, Australopithecus became extinct around 1 million years ago. Mind you, they became, I'm not gonna get into it right now. I'm gonna wait till the right time. All right, let me continue reading. Before the vegetarian eating Australopithecus became extinct around 1 million years ago, the species Homo expanded its diet to include increasing amounts of animal protein and fat. And this process became a hunter. Well before the time of Homo ergaster, our human ancestor had developed a capacity to run long distances, aided by the loss of body fur and the gain of sweat glands that enabled them to cool whilst in hot pursuit. They also developed other traits that greatly assisted in high-speed hunting and throwing techniques, which did not emerge by chance, but rather by mosaic fashion over a period of time. A longer waist and straighter upper arm bone appeared early on in Australopithecus, and a shift in the shoulder socket originated sideways instead of upward, as in the case of great apes. Debuted some 2 million years ago in Homo erectus. Natural selection did not favor any particular trait for a particular purpose. Our tall waist, for example, seems to have arisen as part of a package of traits that facilitated upright walking, but later, in conjunction with other complementary features, it helped our ancestors increase their torque production as to hurl an object at a target with greater force. All right, so let's keep it moving. This is who we are. This is us. We are the Homo species, homogeneous, all right? Homo simply means human. So anybody, any archaic human, yeah, they're called archaic humans for a reason, because they were humans, all right? Which means they had some type of intelligence, all right? But let's get into it. Let me drink me some water because my mouth dry. Homo, which means human, is a genus of the family Hominid, characterized by relatively large cranial capacity, limb structure adapted to a habitual erect posture, and a bipedal gait, which means we walk upright and stand straight up and walk upright. Well developed and fully opposable thumbs, hands capable of power and precision grips, and the ability to make standardized precision tools, using one tool to make another. All right. That's pretty much a classification of all humans, not just Homo sapiens. A mandible discovered at the Lindi Gararu research site in Ethiopia, Ashwa River Valley, in early 2013 serves as the oldest fossil specimen attributed to Homo genius, dated to 2.8 million to 2.75 million years ago. It possesses some of the primitive traits that occur in Australopithecus, while also containing derived features such as smaller teeth and a reduced chin associated with later species of Homo. All right, so let's get into our ancestors, right? We're going to begin with this one, Australopithecus afarensis. All right, I know I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but I'm trying. About 3.9 to 2, they lived about 3.9 to 2.5 million years ago. Australopithecus afarensis were the earliest forms of hominid. All right. Archaeologists dug up fossils in the Afar Triangle of Africa, hence the name afarensis. Because of the importance of this discovery, it's nicknamed Lucy. All right. So this is Lucy. All right. Lucy was also 3 feet tall. All right. She was not a standard size human that's anywhere from between 5 to 6 feet average. You know what I mean? She stood 3 feet tall and walked on 2 legs and had its hands free to defend from predators. Let's keep it moving. Australopithecus africanus. All right, this is just another form. It existed 3.5 to 2.45 million years ago. They were known for their slender build. They were bipeds with curved fingers for tree climbing. They had slightly longer arms than legs. All right. Homo habilis was nicknamed handyman because of their ability to carve tools. All right. They used rocks to cut and animal bones to dig into soil. All right. So they basically made shovels. All right. About 2.35 to 1.5 million years ago, they had larger brains, which helped their survival. They stood at 4 feet tall and walked on 2 feet. Homo rudolphus lived about 2.3 to 1.5 million years ago. This species was found in Lake Rudolph in Kenya. There's been controversy whether it's a separate species from Homo habilis. The main difference between the two is the larger brain case size from Homo rudolphus. Let me drink some water real quick. Yeah, we getting into it. Homo guanchugenus had big teeth for chewing plants. They consumed more vegetables and likely had smaller brains. About 2 million to 1 million years ago, this type of hominoid was discovered in South Africa. They also used fire and stone tools. So they definitely knew how to make fires, and they weren't even one of the smarter ones. But guess how these dudes went extinct? They went extinct because when climate change came and the vegetation disappeared, they didn't want to eat meat. They remained vegetarians and died because they didn't have any food to eat. So a lot of y'all vegetarians might want to rethink that. I don't know, but we're gonna keep on going. The nickname Homo ergaster is working man. This is because they built more sophisticated stone tools. For example, archaeologists often discovered hand axes and cleavers near skeletons found. About 1.6 to 1.3 million years ago, Homo ergaster lived in South Africa. They became extinct only after a relatively short period of time. Homo erectus, the upright man, stood about 5 feet and a half, 5.5 feet in height. They were good at walking and running, used fire and built shelters to protect from the elements. All right, so these people actually were building shelters, mud huts and stuff like that. They were actually building this stuff, and they knew how to use fire, all right, to stay warm and cook their food. About 1.35 to 700 million years ago, Homo erectus were found along southern coast of Asia. They were believed to have larger brains because they ate more meat. All right. Of course, like I was describing earlier, by eating meat, it actually expanded our brains. All right. Homo erectus pincinus existed about 1.25 to 300 million years ago. That's not right. 1.25 million to 300,000 years ago. They are known as pecking man because these fossils were mostly found near Beijing. Archaeologists tend to find a large number of stone tools around Homo erectus pincinus. These extinct hominoids were known to have heavy brow ridges. All right, they are the ones with the big eyebrows. Homo antecessor are recognized as human pioneers due to the belief they belong to the first human population in Europe, meaning they are the first that left out of Africa and went into Europe, the first human species, about 1.2 to 650,000 years ago. Homo antecessor were present in Western Europe. They had a combination of modern and primitive traits and may have practiced cannibalism. All right. We're going to see a lot of recurring situations where people in Europe are forced to eat each other in this presentation also. I'm going to get to that in a second. Homo erectus solenius, nicknamed Solo Man. They resemble Java Man and Pecking Man and now are extinct. About 1 million to 150,000 years ago, this type of hominid was found in Indonesia on the island of Java. Archaeologists found fossils of Homo heidelbergensis. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing these names. I'm trying. Heidelbergensis near Heidelberg, Germany. They are most notable for burying their dead. There goes one species right here that we know was burying their dead. All right, and they did it. They were aptly. I'm gonna get into that later. I'm not gonna get into that right now. I'm gonna get into that in a second. All right, about 700,000 to 400,000 years ago, Homo heidelbergensis existed in both Africa and Europe. They were found to have craniums in the lower range of modern humans. Homo habilis were first discovered in South Africa. They are known for their out of Africa movement about 400,000 to 200,000 years ago. Homo habilis existed only for a short period of time. Their brain volume is slightly larger than modern humans, which means they could have been smarter, but why they want to think, who knows? Give me 1 second, because we about to get into it now. This is our closest cousin right here, the Neanderthal. There's a lot that y'all need to know about the Neanderthal, because I think a lot of people got it misconstrued. Homo neanderthalis, or the Neanderthal, first appeared in the archaeological record about 500,000 years ago, and they vanished from the record as recently as 28,000 years ago, more than 25,000 years before the Egyptian pharaohs. Once in Eurasia, they survived tens of thousands of years of ice ages and climate fluctuation. But during one very cold period from about 60,000 years ago, modern humans spread across Europe. Their presence may have prevented Neanderthals from expanding back into areas they once favored. And over just a few thousand years, Neanderthal numbers dwindled to extinction. All right. Early scientists thought Neanderthals were replaced by early humans because they lacked the language of social skills. Let me explain that. Neanderthals were originally called Homo sapiens, all right? And us, who are now called Homo sapiens, were called Homo sapiens sapiens. But they have recently reclassified the Neanderthal to Homo neanderthalis, and the human is the Homo sapien. All right, so there is no real Homo sapiens sapien. We are the Homo sapien. All right. Early scientists thought Neanderthals were replaced by early humans because they lacked the language and social skills, the technological inequity, and foraging skills. However, evidence accumulated since the 1990s suggests that more than 50,000 years ago, and quite independently of modern humans, Neanderthals invented specialized bone tools to smooth and prepare animal hides. They were making leather. They literally made bear skin coats. They were making all type of stuff to protect against the cold. You see, the normal stuff that people during that time would have made. All right. An international team of archaeologists uncovered 4 bone tools known as lasers, and made from deer ribs, and 2 well-known Neanderthal sites in the Dordogne region of southwestern France, dating back to between 53,000 and 41,000 years ago. The age of the bone preceded the earliest evidence of humans in that part of Europe, which means there was no humans for them to be able to do it. So it had to be the Neanderthals that created these things in that part of Europe. By several thousand years, and when Neanderthals came into contact with Homo sapiens 7,000 years later, it was the modern human who borrowed the technology off of them, which meaning modern humans learned how to make certain things like coats and just things to survive in that type of climate from the Neanderthals that they shared the region with. All right. Or at least that is the suggestion that scientists are making. All right. Core data suggests that from about 30,000 years ago until the last glacial maxima, the last ice age, about 18,000 years ago, the Earth's climate fluctuated wildly. Neanderthal numbers diminished to pockets across the continent until their last known remnant perished in a limestone cave known as Gorham's Cave, opening to the sea on the rock of Gilabaster, where there is evidence of inhabitation going back 125,000 years, including stone spear points and scrapers, charred pine nuts, and the remains of ancient fireplaces. Radiocarbon dating suggests that the embers of some of those fireplaces died out only 28,000 years ago, the last known trace of the Neanderthals on Earth. All right, now we get to us. All right, I was going to go to how Neanderthals, matter of fact, I am going to go to that. I'm gonna give me 1 second. I'll go to that right now. Remove this. Go to that right now. Where is it? All right, that's not it, but this is. All right, we're gonna go to New Scientists, and we're gonna learn how Neanderthals actually did bury they did. I would have put this in the slide, but I ain't feel like doing it. So I'm just gonna go right to the site and let y'all see for yourselves. Basically, I'm not gonna read the whole thing. Basically, what it's saying is that there were, let me read the first couple paragraphs. Burning through the darkness, the fires would have lit up the cave around where the young lady lay. The remains of a series of small fires discovered within a Dolomite hillside 93 kilometers north of Madrid, Spain, could have been the first firm evidence that Neanderthals had funerals. The blackened hearths, which are the fireplaces, surrounded a spot where the jaw and 6 teeth of a Neanderthal toddler were found in a stony sediment. Puzzlingly, within each of these fireplaces was the horn or antler of a herbivore, apparently carefully placed there. In total, there were 30 horns from Koroks and bisons, as well as red deer antlers and a rhino skull nearby. Archaeologists believe the fires may have been lit as some sort of funeral ritual around where the toddler, known as Lazonia child, was placed around 38,000 to 42,000 years ago. I'm not going to read the whole article, but I just want to let y'all know when we have the discussion about were archaic humans religious, we got to address stuff like this. All right, we got to bring that up. So let's get back into the presentation though. We almost through it. As soon as I can move this thing out the way. All right. So this is us, the Homo sapien, also known as the wise man. All right. The sapien just means wise. So our species is an African one. This is very important for everybody to understand. Our species originated in Africa. All right. Nowhere else. We didn't migrate out of nothing. We come from Africa. All right. The whole Homo sapien species. Africa is where we first evolved and where we have spent the majority of our time on Earth. The earliest fossils are recognizably modern Homo sapien. I'm sorry, let me read that again. The earliest fossils of recognizable modern Homo sapiens appear in the fossil records at Oma Kabish in Ethiopia around 200,000 years ago. Although earlier fossils may be found over the coming years, this is our best understanding of when and approximately where we originated, pretty much East Africa. All right, let's keep it moving. According to the genetic paleontological records, we only started to leave Africa between 60,000 and 70,000 years ago. What set this in motion is uncertain, but we think it has something to do with major climatic shifts that were happening around that time. A sudden cooling in the Earth's climate driven by the onset of one of the worst parts of the last ice age. This cold snap would have made life difficult for our African ancestors, and the genetic evidence points to a sharp reduction in population size around this time. In fact, the human population likely dropped to fewer than 10,000 people, which means we were damn near extinct. We was endangered species. We were holding on by a thread. Climate change is important, people. We gotta be prepared for it. All right. Once the climate started to improve about 70,000 years ago, we came back from this near extinction event. The population expanded and some intrepid explorers ventured beyond Africa. The earliest people to colonize the Eurasian landmass likely did so across the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, separating present-day Yemen and Djibouti. Those early beachcombers expanded rapidly across the coast of India and reached Southeast Asia and Australia about 50,000 years ago. The first great expansion of our species beyond Africa had led us all the way across the globe. The first, if you look at this first picture, you see the pink arm. That is us. That is the first Homo sapiens to leave out of Africa. And they went into, they populated the whole India, the southern Asian coast, and went into Australia. All right. Slightly later, a little after 50,000 years ago, a second group appears to have set out on an inland track, leaving behind the leaving behind the certainties of life in the tropics to head out into the Middle East and South Central Asia. For these base camps, they were from these base camps, they are poised to colonize the northern latitude of Asia, Europe, and beyond. All right. So that second round that happened about 50,000 years ago was what populated the rest of Asia, like China, and these are the same people that also populated the Middle East and went into Europe. All right. Around 20,000 years ago, a small group of these Asian hunters headed into the face of the storm, entering the East Asian Arctic during the last glacial maximum. At this time, the ice sheets covering the far north had literally sucked up much of the Earth's moisture in these vast expanses of white wasteland, dropping sea levels by more than 300 feet. This exposed a land bridge that connected the old world to the new, joining Asia to the Americas. And crossing it, the hunters had made the final great leap of the human journey. By 15,000 years ago, they had penetrated the land south of the ice, and within 1,000 years, they had made it all the way to the tip of South America. Some may have even made the journey by ship. Now we got to understand, why did they cross the land bridge? These were hunters. They were chasing woolly mammoth. What happened was the woolly mammoth started to migrate across the land bridge. And because their food source and their clothing source, pretty much their livelihood, was migrating to another place, they had to follow the migration to survive. All right. And they wind up in the Americas. All right, let's continue. All right, so let's talk about the European now. Let's talk about the European. All right. If Europeans are Africans, why don't they have dark skin? Europeans are Africans, just like I just told you. Everybody in this world is originally an African. All right. The story of the European begins 30,000 years ago at the beginning of the last ice age. Africans that had migrated out of Africa almost 20,000 years earlier got trapped in this new climate and were forced to live in caves to protect against the extreme cold. Because of the lack of sunlight, extreme temperatures, and consistent inbreeding with the Neanderthals that were forced in the caves also, the Europeans stopped producing the melanin necessary to maintain a dark skin tone. They grew hair and they grew hair to help fight the cold. Also, because of the lack of vegetation and animals in the region, Europeans were forced to become cannibals and ate each other to survive. We know this because of the human teeth marks on human bones found in caves in the region. All right, these dudes had to eat each other. See what I'm saying? Ain't no food. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Let's be real about it. They was eating each other in them caves. All right. By the end of the ice age, about 15,000 years ago, the earth began to heat back up and the Europeans were finally able to venture out their caves. When they came out, they looked totally different than when they went in. They had grown long hair, lacked pigment, and had to relearn how to live in this new world outside of their caves. All right. Fun fact, this is where the legend of vampires come from. All right. You got to understand, when they came out the caves, the sun hurt them. The sun would burn them. All right. They came out the caves eating flesh. You see, they wasn't eating cooked food. They were sitting there eating flesh. So when other Africans would see that, they would appear to be bloodsuckers or vampires. And from that, the myth was created. Okay. That's really where vampires come from. It comes from the European coming out them caves. All right. But back in Africa, those of us that didn't migrate east into into Asia and Europe, migrated west and south, populating the entire continent of Africa. All right. About 5,000 years ago, another migration began in Africa. The Bantu expansion was a millennia-long series of physical migrations across Africa, starting in 3000 BCE and ending around 1000 CE. This involved the diffusion of language and of knowledge between neighboring populations. New social groups were also formed as a result of intermarriage among communities, as well as by absorbing individuals into the group. Bantu speakers developed novel methods of agricultural and metalworking, which allow people to colonize new areas with widely varying ecologies and greater densities than hunting and foraging permitted. In Eastern and Southern Africa, Bantu speakers adapted livestock husbandry from other peoples they encountered, which means they learned how to herd livestock from other people, and in turn passed it to hunter-gatherers, so that herding reached the far south several centuries before the Bantu-speaking migrants did. Archaeological, linguistic, and genetic evidence all support the idea that the Bantu expansion was one of the most significant human migrations and cultural transformations within the past few thousand years. It was the Bantu who built the city of Great Zimbabwe. Zulu is a Bantu language. The Zulu, who fought a series of wars against the British, inflicting a famous defeat on them in January 1878, established their Zulu kingdom in what is now South Africa in the 19th century. Other Bantu, I'm sorry, getting choked up. Where was I? Other Bantu policies also governed large geographical territories at various periods in time. The Bantu made significant contributions linguistically and culturally to the history of Africa. Their various empires, states, and smaller groups established trade links, often existed peacefully with stable and complex systems of governance, involving consultation and community, mostly male participation. There is some evidence that group membership was cross-tribal, since loyalty to the group or to the king took priority over kinship, which means if you were loyal to the king, he didn't care about whether you was family or not. You was part of him. In addition to intermarriage across tribal boundaries. All right, we're gonna get to the fun part now. Why did I bring all that up? It's because I believe that we are entering into another period of climate change. If you look at the scientific evidence that is being presented by in scientific journals today, the Earth's electromagnetic field is weakening. All right, and because the Earth's electromagnetic field has weakened, the magnetic North Pole has shifted. It's now closer to Russia than it is to its normal position in the Arctic. All right, the jet streams have switched. All right, earthquakes have intensified, thunderstorms have intensified, hurricanes are going to intensify. All this is signs of climate change. All right, and if you just look at the wobble of the Earth, like I said, it depends on the wobble of the Earth. The wobble of the Earth is what dictates the changing of the wet and dry seasons. All right, and it's about, scientists are pretty much saying it's about time for another change, and this time it could be something more serious, which is called polar shift. All right, let me take this down because I think I'm done with my slide. If I can take it down. Let me hit this first. All right, but yeah, we are experiencing, scientists are saying we may be in a period of what is called polar shift. And it's supposed to happen every 300,000 years, right? And we know this because of different core samples and the rings on the inside of trees. There's a whole bunch of different ways that they can prove that the North Pole and the South Pole have switched positions over time. They say it happens every 300,000 years. Now, they say it hasn't happened in 720,000 years since the last time it actually happened. And they're saying we are pretty much due for it. All right, and I've been reading a lot of books on it, and there's a lot of misinformation on it. There's a lot of stuff, and I just want to get y'all opinions about that. Do y'all think it's possible that we could be in for another climate change, as our ancestors have experienced during their lifetimes? All right, and I'm gonna end my presentation with that. You hear me, bro? I don't put him to sleep. You?
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, I'm pretty much done.
Okay. So I made you a co-host. You know why? Because you might want to take questions or you might not. So when I put the link in there, nobody can come in except for your approval. You dig?
Right. Oh, I'll take a question. This is about learning. You see what I'm saying? So if I said something wrong, I want to know I said it wrong so I can get better at it. You know what I mean? But I just want to let anybody that wants to take that up. I'm pretty good on this topic. You jumping in deep water. I'm just put it like that. So can't swim, you're gonna drown.
Yeah, because you got some guys really coming at you in the chat.
I just turned the chat back on. They can come at me all they want. This is science. This is science. Right. So you're not arguing with me. Everything I said came from a scientific journal. So who you arguing with? You gonna argue with the scientists?
Yeah, but what if they watch the X-Files?
Then you watch the X-Files. I don't think that's a scientific journal, but hey, it is what it is. Don't get mad at me. That's all I'm saying. This is what science is showing. All I did was organize the facts. That's all I did. I didn't come up with this information. Actual researchers came up with this information. People in the field. I just put it together so other people can understand it.
Right. So I had through the So did you say you were finished or about to be finished?
No, I'm finished. That's pretty much. I want to really talk about, do you think it's possible we could be entering into another period of climate change? And there's a lot of reasons why I suspect that we are.
So what was that your part two?
That can be a part two, but that's just something I wanted to end off. Maybe people wanted to talk about, you know. Everything else in the presentation is pretty much undebatable because that is like straight fact. So,
right now, I only said that because you were going to climate change, but it appears some people want that smoke with evolution.
We can get it. I'm good with evolution.
So I posted the link and the number in there for those because man, they were really. I was reading the comments and like it's half and half. You got some people supporting you, and you got some people who were saying you were pseudo.
I guess the science is a pseudo. We gonna show them. I got the slide. I got tabs pulled up already. I already knew people weren't going to like the fact that Neanderthals were smart. I don't know why.
Right. Well, you got different type of people. You know what I mean? You got some people who are religious, right? Who believe in intelligent design or the creation story. You got some people who are black allergists, where like they feel like, you know, they got their own. They believe in Yakub. You know, Yakub created certain people. So you got different type of people out there who believe in different type of doctrines, ideologies.
My question is, if they go to the doctor right now and they be like, you got cancer, they gonna tell the doctor that they ain't got cancer, or they gonna try to do something to get the cancer gone?
But man, you be careful what you ask for because some people don't even believe cancer is real. They believe it's a government lie. Yeah.
We bad off though as a people. If that's true, we are bad off as a people. We worse off than I thought because we have to literally compete in this world. If we are scientific illiterate, we are not going to be able to compete. We don't even know where we come from. We literally think man was created in 7 days. I mean, in a day, and then God took a break.
And that's why I was saying, you know, yeah, you got people who believe you're right, and they say because of that, we don't need to compete. We got to get out the country.
Yeah.
You know, you got those out there. So yes, you are involved in a community that got all type of beliefs.
Oh no, I gave back my conscience card. Fuck that. Fuck that shit. Nah, because the real talk, I'm about the truth. I'm about the straight truth. I ain't with none of that bullshit. You see what I'm saying? And there's a lot of stuff that comes with spirituality that I rock with. Don't get it twisted or misconstrued, but it's a lot of shit that people put out here and then they get mad at you. Like when I came at Young Pharaoh about that bullshit he was doing about the about the 5G shit. People got mad at me. I had the whole P-Hive coming at me. I call them the P-Hive.
Wow.
This shit is crazy how people don't do any research for themselves and then they get mad when somebody presents the truth to them. Like, what you mad at me for? You should be happy I gave you the truth. I just made you better.
Right. So for some of you, I put the phone number in there. I put the link in there. You dig, for y'all to, because again, I listen. My thing is Truth Ministries. Like it's easy to troll in the chat because there's nobody there to respond. So if certain people really feel like Truth Ministry had a problem, and I ain't talking about those who disagree with little things. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about those who disagree with everything he said. I'm talking about those people. If you disagree with everything he says, entire premise, this is your time. You could hop on a panel or you could just call in. So I put the phone number out there and I put the Zoom link out there. You dig? You ain't got to debate them. You just can point out the few things or the main.
I'm talking on, shopping on. You feel me? Right. If I was wrong somewhere, just politely tell me I was wrong and show me where I was wrong and show me where I should be corrected. And show me with sources, though. Don't just tell me.
Right. Because I had played a video of like an old video of me debating a religious dude, and somebody in the chat was like trying to correct me or trying to answer their question that they couldn't answer. So I'm like, dude, your answer is still wrong. I'm like, yo, his answer is wrong. Your answer is wrong. I'm like, yo, you got all that smoke in the chat. But when I send that link in after we're done, I guarantee you don't click it. And lo and behold, they don't click it. So it's easy to troll in chat when people give a presentation, but it's calling in and challenging is a whole different, or even questioning is a whole different.
That's why I don't watch the chat while I'm doing my presentation.
Yeah. You're not supposed to, because you would go crazy. So and now Indigenous Black man, he was supposed to come after you with the presentation of something different, like something entirely different, like nothing connected. No rebuttal. But I think he had an issue with his phone. So I said, man, we could take a collection to pay that phone bill, so you could get you on here to do your your presentation.
Oh, Brother Mathis asks, where did Neanderthals come from? They came from Africa.
There you go.
They evolved from Homo erectus, if you want to be specific. They come from Africa. Most these humanoids, hominids, come from Africa.
He said Africa, by the way. Hey, Brother Mathis, call that number, bro. You ain't got to debate him. Just ask your questions and he will answer. That's all. It don't have to be a debate. Like, you know what I mean? Like Truth Ministries, like people think it always got to be a debate. No. Right. You can ask a question, like you said, respectfully, politely. You can give a comment. If you believe you have something superior, you can call that number and, say that. But Brother Mathis rather just talk from the chat. So he said, can you prove what you just said?
Yeah. I showed, that's why I showed the sources. At the first thing I showed was the sources. Yeah, I could prove it. This ain't nothing that I'm making up. I can prove it. Where was Lucy found? Lucy was found, let's go back to the slide. I'll tell you exactly where Lucy was found. Lucy was found in Afar, the Triangle of Africa. All right. This is why she is called Australopithecus afarensis. It's because she was found in Afar, the Triangle of Africa.
There you go.
Yeah, but yeah, they was like y'all was talking about it last night. Though I went to sleep though. But yeah, it was a couple different species that actually buried they dead. Like Neanderthals, they did a whole bunch of shit. Neanderthals was almost damn near as intelligent as humans. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't. They had cave art. Is one cave art found? I believe. I think it's in South America somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong about the location though. But I know they found some cave art that they was actually drawn on walls and everything.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. And I think it's real funny about the meat thing that helped our brains actually grow.
Yeah. I think that I heard that before, and that pretty much put a wrench in a lot of vegetarians. I definitely heard that.
There's certain Homo species that have went extinct because they were vegetarians, literally. Literally.
So are you trying to say that they better off putting that plant-based burger down and grabbing that real one?
They better off having a square diet, a good round diet, the 4 food groups.
What's it called? You talking about a paleo diet?
I don't know what it's called, bro. But you should eat lean meat. What happens is we eat the heavy meat like pork and beef, and that heavy meat that sits in our intestines. Right. And that's what causes the cancer and everything. But if we actually ate leaner meat like chicken, fish, sometimes lamb and chicken, not chicken, but deer, stuff like that, it doesn't sit in your intestines as long. Put it like that. That's where a lot of the problems come. I think they called they little balls or something that they find in your colon. I forgot the exact word for them. Polyps.
Yeah.
Polyps. But the polyps come from leftover meat in your colon that has sit for 10, 15 years.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Yeah, so something like this is a great for the archive, because I was telling brother the other day, I said, as the channel grow and grows, you dig, we the good thing about being archived, like, for example, I played a video the other day that was live when I first started live streaming, basically. And when I first played it the first time, it got a few views, you dig, because the live wasn't that heavy. So as we grew in numbers and subscribers and everything, I played it again the other day, and it like drowned as far as views and live views. We had like 60 people watching it. When it first went live, we had like 15 people watching it, you dig? So as the channel grows, the archive stuff will be re-aired, you dig, and it'll always draw more controversy, more viewers, and it'll rise the subject back up. So that's a good thing about being archived.
Let me answer Brother Mantha's question. Will we experience this pole shift in our lifetime? My lifetime, no. I'm 37 and I will be dead probably before the pole shift. The pole shift is happening now. It's something that actually happens over time. But before it completes, no, I would be dead. It's supposed to happen within, scientists were saying about 200 to 300 years. But now, because of the speeding up of everything, they're saying between 80 to 150 years. And there's some people that say shorter than that. But I don't believe those people, because I read the book and they said a bunch of spooky shit that I know is not true. So I don't, when people start, when I read a book and people have a whole bunch of false stuff in it that I know is false, I don't take their word as heavy as I do others. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, most of us be dead if it pretty much what all is going to happen. Let's understand pole shift. Pole shift, the way some people describe it. Some people, not all scientists agree with this, but some scientists say that, think about it like a cherry, right? You have a cherry, and the cherry is the core of the earth. Now you have a chocolate, right? You pour chocolate over the cherry. The chocolate is the crust of the earth. Now, you know, they are two separate things, right? What people are saying is because the Earth's electromagnetic field is weakening, the pull between the core and the crust is weakening, which means the crust is going to be allowed to slide around the core and realign with the magnetic North Pole that has already shifted. If that makes sense to y'all. Now, this is the thing about it. We just don't know enough about pole shift because we weren't around for the last pole shift. This thing happened 720,000 years ago. So we don't know exactly what's going to happen. We can only assume. But climate change happens about every 12 to 15,000 years. And that's why a lot of people try to put the scare tactic out there, try to tell people, oh, that's what it's going to wipe out the world, floods, because the earth is going to move, the oceans are going to shift, and all that type of stuff. Which I'm not going to say isn't possible, you know what I mean? But we got to show proof. We got to have more evidence than just assumption. All right, we got dead air, bro.
Yeah, now I'm trying to read the chat.
Nobody want to come. You said somebody was, hey, I'm with the smoke.
Yeah, but apparently they are not. They said, I get, you know, sometimes why they don't call in? Because it takes time to Google, right? So when you're like live and we're talking, you know, you can't just Google real fast while somebody asks you a question. So anyway, so Brother Mathis said, do our revolution around our galactic center.
Great question.
And where we are positioned in the galaxy have something to do with it.
That, it's a book that I'm reading right now about polar shift that says that exact thing. It's because we're about to pass the galactic center that it's going to affect our electromagnetic pool. It affects the Earth for some reason. I don't know the science behind it, but for some reason they say when we pass the galactic center, which is a black hole in the center of the Milky Way, I believe, or the universe, I think it's the Milky Way, that our Earth has certain effects because of it. So yes, that's a great question. That's what I'm saying. We got to look into that. All that stuff got to be looked into, and I try my best, but it's certain things that I still don't understand. You know what I mean? I ain't afraid to ask for help. You know what I mean?
So, Brother Mathis, did that answer your question, Brother Mathis? Because don't forget, we got a 10-second delay. So when he actually types something, that's like 10 seconds ago. Mm-hmm. And when you say it, he gets that later. So it's like a delay. So Big O said, call Brother Sanchez.
Oh, the flat earth dude?
Yeah.
Earth is not flat, bro. The only reason people believe the earth is flat is probably because the Bible was written during a time when they believed the earth was flat. The earth ain't round either. It's not a globe either. It's more of like an egg shape. But yeah, that's, and one time I was on here, I was talking about that, and I was playing with the idea because of the Earth's electromagnetic field.
Wait, to Ministry. Did you say you was playing with an idea?
Yeah. That's what but that's how scientists, I'm telling you, that's how scientists learn and make discoveries.
Wait, stop. So are you saying you're a scientist?
No, I'm saying I'm a researcher that's trying to move up. Maybe 10 years from now, after extensive study and maybe some classes, maybe I will be a scientist.
Okay.
But I'm trying to practice proper methods right now. And I know testing your ideas is the best way to prove a scientific hypothesis.
Hey, Brother Mathis responded to you.
Somewhat. We need to research it more because what our African ancestors charted in the about the zodiac and everything. You're absolutely right, bro. I think they was trying to warn us with that. If you look at the 4 cardinal points, right? The 4 cardinal points of the zodiac is Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, and Scorpio. All right. If you look in Revelations tells about 4 beasts, right? One of these beasts had the face of a calf. This was Taurus. One of these beasts was like a lion. This is Leo. One of these beasts had a face like a man. This is Aquarius. The last beast was like a flying eagle. What a lot of people don't know is that in Roman times, the sign for Scorpio was a flying eagle. They're talking about the 4 cardinal points. And I believe these 4 cardinal points are when the climate actually changes on this earth. And they were leaving these signs for us to be prepared. And this is just what I believe. This is not what I can prove. This is just this is just a hypothesis based on what I have researched in theology and history. That's just my opinion about the subject. Put it like that. I believe they was leaving a warning with all that. It wasn't a prophecy. It was a warning. Be prepared.
Okay, so Brother Math, is anything else? Is there anything else, Brother Mathis? So Big O said it's called seasons, right?
Yeah, it's four great seasons. Just like you got 4 regular seasons in the year, right? You got 4 great seasons. You got the great winter, the great spring, the great summer, and the great fall. Now, the great winter was the last ice age. All right. The last ice age was the great winter. All right. Once the wobble of the earth moved and it came into a different position, the earth started to heat back up, causing the ice and everything to melt. And just like the spring causes life to come back, the same way life came back to the earth during the great spring. It just lasted 3 ages. And it caused these 4 seasons. Who knows? Come the great summer, we might not even have 4 seasons anymore. We might have 2. Might not have none. Who knows? Because seasons are controlled by our position and our trajectory towards the sun. All right. The sun has everything to do with it. So if we're in a different position, we might have different effects.
Peace, Khalil. I think Khalil, did you have a question for True Ministries? His presentation.
Right now, we're entering into the great summer, what is known as the ancestors called it, the golden age of men. That's just and it's nothing but because of the wobble of the earth. It's not nothing that is something. It's just something that happens on earth naturally. The constant heating up and cooling of the earth. Wet and dry, hot and cold. So that's where I'm at with that. I'm trying to see how true it is, see if anybody else have any information about it. You know? What you thinking, boss?
Nah, well, what you talking about right now, I don't know anything about that. Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
So don't yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I guess they lost me. You and Brother Matthews was going somewhere different.
Yeah, that's just some theology shit, though. You got to understand certain things in theology to understand that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not science.
Yeah. So all right. So like anybody else, if you got like a different way of thinking, then the brother he shared with you evolution, right? He talked about other things. If you have a different way of thinking, right? And if you don't want to argue or debate anybody or challenge, you got your opportunity. You can come on here as well, and you can talk about whatever you want to talk about. Like no, I'm sorry. You can present, not talk about. You ain't gonna do that. But you can present whatever you want to present. So if you felt like you had something more superior or than evolution, and you want to talk about that, then yeah, we'll give you an opportunity to present, your information. And then True Ministries I bet he'll call in on you. You ain't calling on him, but I bet you he'll call in on you and challenge your belief system, how you see things, how things came together.
People don't
So now,
understand me, yo. Like real talk, that's how I learn. I learn from really challenging my ideas. You know what I mean? How am I going to know if I'm on the wrong track if nobody tells me?
yeah. All right. Well, if y'all ain't gonna call in, we're just gonna archive the presentation.
Yeah, I can dig it.
Yeah, that means you guys agree in silence. And then, next time you can bring up the second. I don't know if you want to do a presentation or just have it as a topic on climate control, climate change. That's something like I was interested in. That I kept telling myself I'm going to look into that because I see that there's a debate over this one, and I love directions where there are controversy like that attracts me. I bet this is a fake number. Hello? Told you. Oh shit. So anyway, yeah. So I guess true. That's it.
All right.
Let me make sure. Yeah. Nope. Nobody called Amber. So I guess that's it. We'll wrap it up. We won't prolong it. And if somebody hits me in the inbox, text, whatever, if they want to do a presentation, then we'll set that up. But yeah, but good job with the evolution, because a couple things that you talked about and point out that I forgot, or something that I didn't know in general that I was catching. And that's something I could play over.
I appreciate you for giving me the opportunity to be on here, man. It's a good thing you're doing.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely replay that because I like the evolution presentation. So I will probably replay that another time.
Uh-huh.
And of course, because there's many people obviously who didn't see it. We had because we're like on a Friday, 2 p.m. getting it in. So the best hour mostly be evening and morning. That's where people are most available. So I will definitely replay it probably on a Sunday and try to track a different audience. And maybe then, if you're available, I guarantee when I replay it and you're not live, I guarantee you people hop on the panel then. But then you could surprise me. You could come on a live also. You come on the panel also. Yeah. So that's it. We're gonna end it, and so we don't just drag it. And I'll replay it. And, maybe a better time Monday. I mean, morning or evening, assuming that True Story is not on or Sunday is not on, because those are the best times. When they're not on, that's when people are looking for something to do.
I think Garfield and them was on too.
Well, his listeners don't really affect mine, and mine don't really affect his. Like, we got two different. Like, some people are both, but most people that listen to me don't really listen over there. Most people that listen to him don't really come over here. So because I thought so too. I thought I was trying to avoid people who I thought I had that had similar. We had similar people, similar viewers. I try to avoid them, and I did a test. He went live. I went live, and his viewership didn't change, and mine didn't change. So I said, okay, maybe, most people that rock with him don't rock with me, and vice versa. So I said, that's good. So that means that we go live together, and it won't affect anybody's viewership. But True Story, obviously, me and him share the same viewership in Sonetta, so that's why I try to avoid them.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we'll end.
Too, yo. I fuck with them.
Yeah, I rock with them. Straight facts over there.
I fuck with certain people, yo. I don't know what's going on in the conscious community, but yo, I want to dedicate this to my big brother though, yo, because I wouldn't even have got here if it wasn't for Aunt West.
Okay.
So gotta give the big brother a shout out. Keep doing what you're doing. Fight the motherfucking power. And let's get this education out here.
Yeah, peace to Gary Hart. He just checked in. Yeah, so Gary Hart missed it. Khalil Sadiq missed it. So I will replay it another day, better hour, and where you guys most likely gonna catch it. Yeah, because I don't want to make it too long, because then it's gonna be like presentation and just nothing afterwards. So that's it. So Truth, I'm gonna replay it over the weekend at a better time, better hour, catch more viewers, and then hopefully we could talk about the things that was mentioned.
All right, bro. Appreciate
All
you.
right, thank you for coming on, because you were true to your word. You definitely came on.
Oh yeah.
All right, man. Peace.
All right, peace, bro.